Stephen A., I could actually argue that it hurts the game more if they had given her a roster spot over someone more deserving.
The sports world is in shock after Stephen A. Smith unleashed a scathing critique of Molly Qerim during a recent broadcast, and fans can't stop talking about it. The segment, which aired live on ESPN, centered around Caitlin Clark, the rising star whose performances have dominated headlines and captured the attention of basketball fans everywhere. Stephen A. didn't hold back, calling out Qerim for what he described as bias questioning, unfair scrutiny, and attempts to target Clark personally rather than discussing the game or her achievements. The moment quickly went viral, with clips circulating across Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, sparking heated debates about media ethics, favoritism, and the role of sports journalism in shaping narratives around athletes. Viewers were divided. Some applauded Stephen A. for defending Clark and holding ESPN accountable, while others criticized the on-air confrontation as unprofessional or over the top. Regardless of perspective, the impact was undeniable. The broadcast dominated trending topics and fueled conversations across sports forums, fan communities, and mainstream media outlets. Experts and commentators weighed in, analyzing the exchange, dissecting tone and delivery, and speculating about the implications for both Qerim's reputation and ESPN's credibility. Adding to the drama, insiders suggest that this isn't the first time Caitlin Clark has faced what some see as disproportionate scrutiny from certain analysts. Stephen A.'s fiery response seemed to serve as both a defense of Clark and a broader critique of how athletes, particularly women in sports, are often questioned and evaluated through inconsistent lenses. Fans flooded social media with their opinions, memes, and reaction videos, amplifying the controversy and turning a routine segment into a viral moment that dominated the sports conversation. With millions watching and reacting in real time, the fallout from this clash is already reshaping narratives around Clark, the ESPN broadcast team, and the way analysts approach questioning athletes. One thing is certain: the Stephen A. versus Molly Qerim confrontation has ignited a conversation about respect, media responsibility, and the high stakes of sports commentary, and the debate shows no signs of slowing down. The moment Stephen A. Smith confronted Molly Qerim on live ESPN airwaves, the sports community erupted. Fans, analysts, and casual viewers alike immediately flooded social media, replaying the clip and dissecting every word, tone, and gesture. Stephen A., known for his fiery opinions and unfiltered commentary, didn't hold back, calling out what he saw as targeted, unfair questioning of Caitlin Clark, a rising star in women's basketball who has captivated audiences with her talent, determination, and sheer dominance on the court. The confrontation quickly became more than a simple broadcast disagreement. It transformed into a larger conversation about respect, fairness, and accountability in sports media. Memes, reaction videos, and discussion threads spread across platforms, with fans passionately debating who was right, who was wrong, and what the fallout could mean for ESPN as a network. The clip dominated trending topics on Twitter and Instagram, with sports communities dissecting the exchange frame by frame, analyzing gestures, inflection, and timing. Every detail became fodder for discussion, from the firmness of Stephen A.'s tone to Qerim's reaction and composure, as viewers tried to determine whether the criticism was justified or overblown. Inside the ESPN studios and the broader sports media world, the exchange quickly became a focal point of conversation. Producers and executives debated the implications, aware that such a viral moment could impact both internal dynamics and public perception. Some insiders suggested that Qerim's line of questioning, while standard in many sports interviews, may have unintentionally crossed a line by scrutinizing Clark in a way that felt personal rather than professional. Stephen A.'s response, though fiery, brought attention to a deeper issue: the ways in which female athletes are sometimes subjected to disproportionate criticism, particularly when they are in the spotlight for exceptional performances. Analysts noted that Stephen A. was defending not just Clark but the principle that athletes should be judged by their performance and contributions on the court, not subjected to unnecessary personal attacks or biased scrutiny. Fans quickly took sides. Supporters of Stephen A. praised his willingness to challenge the perceived bias and defend an athlete who continues to dominate the sport. They argued that his critique highlighted the often unseen pressures that women athletes face in media coverage, especially when their performance challenges existing narratives or expectations. On the other hand, some viewers criticized the confrontation as unprofessional, suggesting that it overshadowed Clark's achievements and risked creating tension within ESPN itself. Yet, regardless of perspective, the clip captured the attention of millions, illustrating how live sports media can escalate in real time and how one heated exchange can dominate conversation for hours, even days. The conversation extended beyond social media into mainstream coverage. Sports journalists, podcasters, and television analysts weighed in, providing their own interpretations and predictions about the consequences. Some discussed the potential long-term impact on Qerim's credibility, while others analyzed the ways Stephen A.'s outspoken personality often turns controversial moments into viral sensations. Meanwhile, basketball fans debated how the exchange might affect Caitlin Clark personally. Would she feel supported, emboldened, or caught in the middle of an unnecessary media feud? Commentators emphasized that, in an era where public perception can make or break reputations, every gesture, facial expression, and statement carries significant weight. The incident had become a case study in the power dynamics of sports media, showing how a single confrontation could ripple across platforms, influence narratives, and ignite cultural debate. Adding to the intrigue, insiders hinted that this wasn't the first time Caitlin Clark had been subjected to what some viewed as excessive scrutiny. Analysts suggested that Stephen A.'s reaction could be interpreted as both a defense of the young athlete and a broader critique of systemic biases in sports commentary. Fans on social media immediately drew connections between past interviews, controversial questions, and perceived patterns of behavior, creating a complex narrative that went far beyond the original broadcast. Reaction videos, detailed breakdowns, and commentary threads continued to multiply, ensuring that the story maintained momentum and remained relevant in both sports circles and general media discussions. As the clip continued to go viral, the stakes became clear. This wasn't just about a heated moment on live television. It was about respect, accountability, and the evolving role of sports media in shaping how athletes, especially women, are perceived and treated. Stephen A.'s confrontation highlighted the fine line between critique and personal targeting, showing viewers that even the most respected networks are subject to intense scrutiny in the digital age. Fans eagerly awaited follow-ups, interviews, or statements from both Qerim and Clark, knowing that any response could ignite another wave of discussion, speculation, and viral content. By the end of the day, it was evident that this incident had transformed from a single exchange into a defining moment in contemporary sports media, a clash that would influence conversations, coverage, and perceptions for weeks to come. The aftermath of Stephen A. Smith's fiery critique of Molly Qerim spread like wildfire across social media, creating ripples far beyond ESPN studios. Clips of the confrontation were shared millions of times, with hashtags trending on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Fans analyzed every frame of the broadcast, debating tone, word choice, and body language. Every pause, inflection, and hand gesture became a talking point, fueling endless speculation about what really happened behind the scenes. Some argued that Stephen A. had crossed a line himself, using the broadcast to assert dominance rather than simply defend Caitlin Clark. Others insisted that his intervention was necessary, highlighting how women athletes, even top performers like Clark, are often subjected to excessive scrutiny or biased questioning that can undermine their achievements. The divide between supporters and critics only intensified as the clip circulated, demonstrating the viral power of live television when combined with social media amplification. Fans and commentators weren't just discussing the incident, they were reconstructing it. Social media feeds filled with side-by-side comparisons of previous broadcasts, screenshots of Qerim's questions, and Stephen A.'s responses. Analysts and superfans dissected every angle, debating whether Qerim's approach was standard journalism or crossed an unspoken line into personal targeting. Reaction videos exploded, some praising Stephen A.'s defense of Clark and others questioning whether a public confrontation was the best course of action. The frenzy demonstrated the intense public investment in the careers of athletes like Caitlin Clark and the influence commentators like Stephen A. hold over sports narratives. It became clear that this wasn't just a minor on-air disagreement, it was a full-blown cultural moment with both immediate and long-term consequences. Within ESPN, internal discussions quickly followed. Producers and executives were aware that the clip's virality meant the incident was now a high-profile topic, one that could affect the network's reputation, credibility, and internal dynamics. Some suggested that Qerim's line of questioning, while routine in sports journalism, may have been unintentionally perceived as disproportionately critical, especially given Clark's high-profile status and rapid rise. Stephen A.'s impassioned response, though controversial, highlighted a deeper issue about how athletes, particularly women, are evaluated in the media. His words reflected a broader conversation about fairness, ethics, and accountability in sports broadcasting, suggesting that even established networks like ESPN are not immune to scrutiny in the age of viral media. Fans took the debate to forums, comment sections, and live streams, turning speculation into a participatory narrative. Some believed that Stephen A. was defending Clark personally, ensuring that she was not subjected to unnecessary pressure or public criticism. Others framed the confrontation as a statement about the broader media landscape, highlighting systemic issues in how female athletes are treated compared to their male counterparts. Reaction videos proliferated across YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, with fans creating compilations, breakdowns, and commentary that added to the viral momentum. Each new interpretation fueled further discussion, creating a cycle where the story grew beyond the original broadcast and became a cultural touchpoint in sports media. At the center of the storm was Caitlin Clark herself. While she had remained focused on her performance and career, the public debate surrounding the incident inevitably became part of her narrative. Fans and analysts speculated about how she felt witnessing the confrontation, whether she appreciated the defense or felt caught in the middle of an unnecessary feud. Some argued that Stephen A.'s support could bolster her public image and solidify her status as a rising star, while others worried about potential backlash or unwanted attention. Regardless, Clark's performance and reputation became intertwined with the media discourse, illustrating how public perception can shape and influence an athlete's career beyond the court. As the days unfolded, the story's reach expanded. Media outlets produced analysis segments, podcasts discussed the implications, and social media platforms were filled with fan debates, memes, and viral reactions. Industry experts weighed in, suggesting that the incident could have long-term effects on Qerim's credibility, Stephen A.'s influence, and the ways in which female athletes are treated in live interviews. The debate revealed the delicate balance between accountability, professionalism, and passionate defense in sports media, highlighting how a single heated exchange can ripple through both fan communities and professional networks. By the end of the week, it was clear that Stephen A. versus Molly Qerim had become more than just a confrontation. It was a defining moment that reshaped conversations about respect, media responsibility, and the evolving role of commentary in modern sports. As the conversation surrounding Stephen A. Smith's confrontation with Molly Qerim intensified, it became clear that the fallout was more than a temporary viral moment. It had evolved into a full-blown cultural conversation about sports journalism, ethics, and respect for athletes. Fans pored over every detail of the broadcast, dissecting Stephen A.'s words and Qerim's responses with painstaking attention. The discussion wasn't just about a single exchange on live television. It was about power dynamics, gender bias, and the responsibility of media figures to balance accountability with fairness. Social media became a digital arena where clips, screenshots, and reaction videos were shared, reshared, and analyzed endlessly. Memes quickly went viral, often exaggerating facial expressions or gestures to emphasize perceived tension or hypocrisy, while heated debates raged across Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Every nuance became a potential talking point. The way Qerim phrased her questions, the tone of her delivery, the calm or fiery cadence of Stephen A.'s responses, all scrutinized as fans tried to decode the real story behind the confrontation. Inside ESPN, the viral moment sparked a whirlwind of internal discussion. Producers, directors, and executives convened meetings to assess both the immediate impact and potential long-term consequences of the exchange. Some argued that Qerim had simply been doing her job, asking questions intended to generate conversation and insight, while others acknowledged that public perception had tilted dramatically against her due to Stephen A.'s impassioned response. The incident highlighted the delicate balance required in live sports journalism. While analysts must hold athletes accountable, there is a fine line between rigorous questioning and perceived personal targeting. Stephen A.'s critique had forced ESPN, and perhaps the industry as a whole, to confront that line in a way few expected. It wasn't just about defending Caitlin Clark. It was about broader systemic patterns in sports media and the ethics of live commentary, and the network had to navigate the fallout carefully to maintain credibility. Fans online amplified the discussion even further. Commentary threads, live stream reactions, and fan breakdowns dissected everything from previous interviews to career patterns, attempting to trace how similar exchanges had played out historically. Some argued that Stephen A. was right to intervene, pointing out that female athletes like Clark often face scrutiny that male athletes rarely endure. Others countered that a public confrontation undermined professionalism and could create tension within the network itself. Reaction videos proliferated, with creators adding their own perspectives, dramatizations, and analysis, feeding a feedback loop that kept the story alive for days on end. Every new post, tweet, or video seemed to escalate the conversation, reinforcing the sense that this moment had transcended the original broadcast and entered the broader cultural zeitgeist. At the center of the storm was Caitlin Clark herself, whose talent and poise had earned her widespread acclaim. While she had remained focused on her performances, the media scrutiny inevitably intersected with her personal narrative. Fans debated how she might have interpreted the confrontation. Did she feel supported, pressured, or caught between two powerful media figures? Analysts suggested that Stephen A.'s defense could enhance her public image, casting her as a deserving athlete who is rising above unnecessary critique, while simultaneously raising questions about the role of media in shaping the perceptions of athletes. Every highlight, post-game interview, and social media update from Clark became a subject of discussion, as fans attempted to connect her reactions to the ongoing debate. The incident revealed the increasing intersection between athlete performance, media coverage, and fan engagement in the age of viral social platforms. Meanwhile, media commentators and industry insiders continued weighing in, discussing the broader implications for ESPN and the sports journalism world. Some suggested that the incident could influence how future interviews are conducted, particularly with high-profile female athletes, while others speculated on the potential impact on Qerim's career and credibility. The discussion also extended to Stephen A.'s role as a commentator. His assertive defense had not only defended Clark but also positioned him as a figure willing to challenge perceived injustice, further reinforcing his influence in sports media. The viral moment became a case study in the power dynamics of live broadcasting, demonstrating how quickly a single exchange can escalate, influence public perception, and spark widespread cultural discussion. Fans, media, and analysts alike watched every development closely, knowing that each news statement or post could significantly shape the narrative. By the end of the week, it was evident that the confrontation between Stephen A. and Molly Qerim had far-reaching consequences. What began as a heated segment on ESPN had grown into a multi-layered discussion about respect, accountability, gender dynamics, and the responsibilities of sports journalists. Social media had transformed the exchange into a participatory event where fans, influencers, and commentators all contributed to shaping the narrative. The incident demonstrated the extraordinary power of modern sports media, where live television, social media virality, and public engagement intersect to create cultural moments that can define careers and spark widespread debate. For Caitlin Clark, Stephen A., and Molly Qerim, the fallout was just beginning, and the world was watching every move, every post, and every response with rapt attention. The intensity surrounding Stephen A. Smith's confrontation with Molly Qerim continued to escalate, dominating conversations across social media, sports forums, and mainstream media outlets. Every replay, clip, and screenshot was dissected, with viewers scrutinizing the broadcast for tone, inflection, and intent. Memes and reaction videos flooded platforms, often exaggerating gestures and expressions to highlight the drama. Fans debated whether Qerim's questions were fair journalistic practice or a targeted attack on Caitlin Clark, while others analyzed Stephen A.'s assertive response, praising him for defending the young star and challenging perceived bias. The conversation had expanded far beyond the original broadcast, turning a single segment into a viral event that dominated trending topics for days. It became evident that this moment was not just about a confrontation, it was a reflection of deeper issues in sports media, including gender dynamics, fairness in questioning, and the responsibilities of high-profile commentators. Inside ESPN, discussions among executives, producers, and on-air talent became increasingly intense. Many acknowledged that while Qerim had likely been performing her duties as a host, the public perception had shifted overwhelmingly in Stephen A.'s favor. The network faced a delicate balancing act, supporting its talent while managing the fallout from a viral incident that had now reached millions of viewers. Producers debated whether this confrontation would necessitate an internal review, additional media training, or adjustments to interview formats in the future. Stephen A.'s criticism, while impassioned, had also cast a spotlight on systemic issues, forcing ESPN to consider how questions are framed and how talent is treated on air. It was no longer just about one heated moment, it was about long-term credibility, ethics, and the network's reputation in a highly scrutinized digital environment. Fans and analysts dissected every nuance of the feud with unprecedented detail. Live-stream debates, reaction channels, and viral threads multiplied, each offering a new interpretation of the confrontation. Some argued that Stephen A.'s defense of Clark was overdue, highlighting the disproportionate scrutiny that female athletes often face compared to their male counterparts. Others criticized him for publicly chastising a colleague on live television, arguing that it could create tension within the network and undermine professionalism. The debate extended beyond sports commentary into broader conversations about respect, fairness, and accountability, with social media acting as a megaphone for public opinion. Each new post, reaction, or video reignited discussions, ensuring that the story maintained momentum and continued to dominate conversations across platforms. At the center of this unfolding narrative was Caitlin Clark herself. Her athletic achievements had already made her a rising star, but the incident with Stephen A. and Molly Qerim added a new dimension to her public persona. Fans speculated on how Clark interpreted the exchange. Was she emboldened by the support, frustrated by the scrutiny, or caught in a media storm beyond her control? Analysts noted that this confrontation could have long-term implications for her image, illustrating how athlete narratives are shaped not only by performance but also by the media ecosystem surrounding them. Every game, interview, and social media post became a part of the larger narrative, showing how viral moments can intertwine with career trajectories and public perception. Meanwhile, commentators and industry insiders debated the wider implications for sports media as a whole. Could this incident lead to more thoughtful, fair questioning of athletes? Would networks implement new protocols to prevent perceived bias or personal targeting? Or would the viral nature of live television continue to fuel these confrontations, amplifying public debate at the expense of professional cohesion? The Stephen A. versus Qerim confrontation had become more than a single heated moment. It was a lens through which broader issues of fairness, gender dynamics, and media responsibility were being examined. Fans and analysts alike watched closely, knowing that each statement, post, or reaction could shift the narrative further, making the next chapter of this story even more compelling and unpredictable. As the Stephen A. Smith versus Molly Qerim confrontation continued to dominate social media, the story reached a fever pitch. Fans had dissected every detail of the original broadcast, replaying clips, analyzing tone, gestures, and body language, and speculating endlessly about the implications. Reaction videos, memes, and live stream breakdowns proliferated across platforms, amplifying the drama and keeping the conversation alive. The incident had become less about the initial disagreement and more about broader issues: media responsibility, gender dynamics in sports coverage, and the pressures athletes face when the spotlight is focused on them. Caitlin Clark, the athlete at the center of the discussion, became a symbol of how young stars navigate public scrutiny, and the debate about her treatment resonated with viewers far beyond the basketball community. Within ESPN, the internal ripple effects were significant. Executives, producers, and on-air talent monitored social media trends and fan reactions closely, recognizing that the viral nature of the confrontation had put the network in a delicate position. Some viewed Stephen A.'s defense as a necessary stand for fairness and ethical reporting, while others worried it risked creating tension among colleagues or undermining the network's cohesion. Discussions ensued about how interviews should be conducted moving forward, how to balance challenging questions with respect, and how to manage situations where on-air confrontations escalate unexpectedly. The incident underscored the pressures of live television in a digital age, where every moment can go viral within minutes, and even small gestures or comments can carry enormous weight. Fans, analysts, and commentators continue to dissect the confrontation, with each new post or reaction adding layers to the narrative. Some praised Stephen A. for protecting Caitlin Clark and calling out perceived unfair treatment, framing his actions as a necessary defense of athletes under undue scrutiny. Others criticized the public nature of his critique, suggesting it blurred professional boundaries and could have long-term implications for relationships within the network. Live-stream discussions and social media threads delved into historical examples of similar conflicts, exploring how public interventions have shaped careers and reputations. The story had become an ongoing debate about media ethics, fairness, and the responsibilities of those who hold influence in sports commentary. At the center of the storm, Caitlin Clark's performance and public perception were closely examined. Analysts debated how the incident might affect her trajectory, both on and off the court. Some argued that Stephen A.'s support enhanced her reputation, casting her as a talented athlete deserving of respect and protection from unnecessary media pressure. Others suggested that any public dispute could distract from her accomplishments or create additional pressure. Social media amplified every move, as fans connected her post-game interviews, highlights, and social media activity to the ongoing narrative. The intersection of athlete performance, media scrutiny, and fan perception illustrated the immense influence that viral moments can have on shaping the public image of sports figures. As the story unfolded, it became clear that the confrontation was a defining moment for all involved. Stephen A. had positioned himself as a vocal advocate for fairness and respect, while Molly Qerim faced intense public scrutiny that would shape her reputation in the industry. Caitlin Clark emerged as the central figure whose talent and composure continued to inspire and engage fans. The incident had sparked a broader cultural conversation about fairness, accountability, and gender dynamics in sports media, illustrating how live television, social media virality, and public discourse intersect to create moments that define careers and shape cultural narratives. For fans, the story remained compelling, with every new post, statement, or interview holding the potential to shift the conversation yet again. The confrontation was no longer just a single moment. It had become a landmark episode in sports media, demonstrating the power of narrative, influence, and public engagement in shaping how athletes and journalists are perceived. The confrontation between Stephen A. Smith and Molly Qerim has proven that in today's sports media, a single live exchange can ignite a global conversation. Fans, analysts, and commentators have debated every word, gesture, and reaction, turning what might have been a routine broadcast into a defining moment in sports journalism. At the center of it all is Caitlin Clark, whose talent continues to shine despite the media storm, reminding viewers why she's one of the most exciting athletes in the game today. This incident has sparked critical discussions about fairness, respect, and the responsibilities of commentators in shaping narratives around athletes. Whether you side with Stephen A., Molly Qerim, or simply want to see Clark's career thrive, one thing is clear: the conversation isn't over. Stay tuned for updates, reactions, and breakdowns, because in the fast-moving world of sports media, every next moment could change the story again, and fans everywhere will be watching closely.